Another unboxing and camera tour for you guys. This is the POCO F4, which POCO touts as another device with a flagship level experience. Let's take a look at what this phone can do.
Good day, you beautiful people. Welcome to LAZADA's Tech, where we do tech in your life in style. Yes, we just unboxed the POCO F4. And not to be confused with the POCO F4 GT, the POCO F4 just got announced tonight. And yes, because I'm sure you guys have questions, I will be putting these two phones side by side later on in the video. But first, let's take a closer look at this phone. It is a nice, shiny, slightly reflective phone. Hi! But it can get smudgy, as with all shiny phones. Slight camera bump here, and there are like tiny steps to the cameras. It's a 3-cam setup for this phone, and it does feel like a bigger phone, specifically because I have tinier hands, and I will say that these bigger phones are becoming more of the norm. Up top, those are speakers and an NFC. The sides are a little flat, and on the right side, you have a volume rocker, a power button that doubles as a fingerprint scanner. At the bottom, speakers, USB-C port, SIM tray, and that is a dual SIM situation right there. The other side of the phone is clean, and then back to the top. Now, I wanted to put the POCO F4 side by side with the POCO F4 GT because, let's be honest, it got a little bit confusing right there. As is evident by the looks and not so much by the naming, these are two very different phones. Now, just to quickly refresh your memory, the POCO F4 GT is that phone, the one with the gaming triggers built in, pretty cool stuff. And if you want to see my video on this, I'll link it down below. But yeah, these two phones have different processors, the POCO F4 being powered by a Snapdragon 870, meanwhile the POCO F4 GT is powered by a Snapdragon 8 Gen 1. Even variants are different, with the POCO F4 being offered with the lowest variant of a 6GB 128GB version and an 8GB 256GB version, and the F4 GT with an 8GB 128GB version to start and a 12GB 256GB version. Both sport a flat 6.67-inch AMOLED display with the same resolution and 120Hz refresh rate. Battery-wise though, the POCO F4 has 4,500 mAh with 67W charging, while the POCO F4 has 4,700 and 120W charging. Both of these phones have liquid cooling tech, and cameras are more or less the same. Camera tour time, and that is the fingerprint unlock. I feel like we haven't done this in a hot second. This is also what 120Hz looks like on the screen and onto the cameras. Hey! So we have a wide 1x, 2x, up until 10x. Back to 1x. Up here, flash settings, HDR settings, AI, you have your different filters. There's a beauty filter. There's also Google Lens. And then here you have other settings, like you have your size ratio, time, movie frame mode, macro mode is here, tilt shift, and time burst. To the right, you have a portrait mode, and you also have your different cinematic effects. As you can see, my background is also now blurred, and that blur is something that you can adjust here. So an aperture of 16, not blurred at all, to an aperture 1, which makes it look very, very blurred. Here you have beautify, filters, and then up here even more settings, very similar to the photo mode. Under more, there's a lot. Okay, so we have the night mode, and you can do wide, 1x, 2x, up until 10x, back to 1x. You also have size settings and a movie frame mode. You have a 64 megapixel mode. We've seen this before, main camera 64 megapixels, but output isn't 64 megapixels because of course pixel binning. But if you want to shoot 64 megapixel photos, you can go on this mode. There are also like filters up here. Can you zoom in or out? You can zoom in up until 2x, and you have a menu over here. And then you have a short video mode. This mode, I've said a couple of times before, this is basically something that Android, Xiaomi in this case, decided to solution the problem of social media not being optimized for Android phones. So basically this is a mode built into the camera app. It shoots short video, 15 seconds in this case, and then from here you can send it straight to your social media apps, and if you sign in, they'll show up here. Aside from that though, you can also like edit them here. So you have slow-mo, you have fast forward, you have your different filters, you have beauty filters, you have the kaleidoscope mode, and then you can add background music as well. You have a panorama mode, the document scanner, your vlog mode. Again, just a fun little way to create your own little vlogs. Basically allows you to shoot depending on template, and it does the editing for you. You have a slow motion mode, you have a time-lapse mode, you have movie effect modes. Okay, so if you want me to check out all these different fun modes, let me know in the comment section down below. I usually do them in a social media test, so let me know if that's something you want to see. You have a long exposure mode. You also have a dual video mode. Of course, you can change this around. You have a clone mode, always fun. And then let's move on to the other side. You have your video mode. You can do wide, 1x, 2x, up until 6x, back to 1x. Up here, you have flash settings. You have your steady video here. You have your different filters. You have your beautify mode and bokeh on video. So as you can see, my background becomes blurred if we toggle it up this way. And then you have a pro mode, which allows you all the different settings. You can do photos and videos on this mode. And then selfie. So this is your video mode, no zooming in or out. And then you have your filters, you have your beautify mode, you have your bokeh, and it does blur out the background. You have your photos, no zooming in or out. You have even more detailed beauty filters and more filters. HDR mode, different settings up here. Of course, my favorite, palm shutter, which allows you to selfie that easily. You have a portrait mode. Again, you can choose the level of blur here. There are different cinematic effects as well, and then you have your beautify filters. And then we're back to more, which we've already seen. Now, time for some sample shots. And that was our look at the POCO F4 GT. Let me know if you guys have questions. Let me know if you want to see a social media test or a camera vlog test with this phone. Comment down below. That's it for today. If you want to see how I use my tech on a daily basis, find me online. That's LAZADA_ on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Until next time.